Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class, which is from Canto 1, Chapter 8, prayers by Queen Kunti, and we're doing text 38 this morning. This is a recording of a class given by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in 1973 in Los Angeles, California. We request that you kick your volume on your listening devices up. Sometimes it is low here, the way it's recorded. All right, so without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ke Vayam Nama Rupabhyam Yadhubi Saha Pandava Bhavato Adarshanam Yarhi Rishikanam Iva Ishito Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam Yadubi Saha Pandava Bhavato Darshanam Jarhi Shikanam Iveshitu Ye Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam Yadubi Saha Pandava Bhavato Darshanam Jarhi Rishikanam Iveshitu Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam Yadubhi Saha Pandava Bhavato Darshanam Jarhi Rishikanam Iveshitu
Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam
Ke who are Vayam we Nama Rupabhyam without fame and ability Yadubhi with the Yadus Saha along with Pandava and the Pandavas Bhavata your Adarshanam absence Yarhi as if Rishikanam of the senses Iva like Ishitu of the living being Translation: as the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and the Yadus, will end at once.
So, this is the case not only with the Pandavas, but every one of us. When somebody dies, big man, big scientist, big politician, big philosopher, when he is dead, the big name, here is Mr. Nixon, here is Mr. Sir Isaac Newton, this is name. Nama Rupa Bhyam. Nama means name and Rupa means form. So long we are living, our name, our fame, our form, our activities are glorious, very good. And as soon as the life is gone, nobody cares. It is a lump of matter, that's all. Now, when one is living, a big man, nobody can go before him or touch him. There are so many guards. But the same man, when he is dead, if he is lying on the floor, if somebody kicks on his face, nobody cares. Finished. So we should understand this, that after the disappearance of the body, soul, this so-called big name, big fame, important body has no value. And what is that soul? That soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, our energy of Krishna. So when the energy is withdrawn, or Krishna is not there, the energy, Krishna's energy and Krishna is no difference. Shakti Shakti Matayo Abheda. Just like the sun. Sun is the Shaktiman, energetic. And the sun sign is the energy. So long the sun sign is there, the sun is there. There is no difficulty. When the sun is not there, the sun's energy is also not there. Similarly, Krishna, so long Krishna is within us, within this body. Krishna's energy, there are two things are always. The Mayavadi philosophers, they do not accept the energy. Simply they accept the energetic, impersonal. No. We must accept the energy and the energetic, both. Shakti Parinam. Shakti means energy. By the energy, everything is going on. The energetic is aloof. Just like the sun. We can very easily understand. The example is just before us. The sun is there, the sun sign is there, and within the sun globe there is sun god. But we, so-called scientists, we are studying the sun from 93 millions of miles away. And we are taking very pride that we are studying this sun. If you have studied sun, why don't you go there? Go there and enter into the sun planet. This is a material thing. And what to speak of spiritual thing? So, the sunshine is working because the sun globe is there, the sun god is there. Similarly, the material energy is working. This cosmic manifestation made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and ego. These are the 8 ingredients of this material manifestation. So these 8 materials, elements, their energies, separated energy. Bhinna me prakriti ashtadha. And because the energetic is there, behind this energy, just like electric power, we are using electric power. But behind this electric power, there is the powerhouse and there is the engineer who is producing the power. The rascals, they do not understand this. They simply see the power, but behind the power, there is the power maker, the source of power. They do not understand it. Therefore Krishna comes and says that I am the power maker. I am behind this power. Krishna personally comes because we have no eyes to see Krishna, neither we can understand Krishna. He therefore comes. What kind of God? We are simply contemplating God. What is the form of God? God must be very old man because he has created millions and millions of years ago. Therefore, he must be very old man. This is our contemplation. We are going on. Therefore, God comes before you. Here, see, what is God? He is so kind. Jada jada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. So God comes here in his person. He leaves behind him his instruction, just like Bhagavad Gita. He leaves behind him his devotees who can explain. But still we are so stubborn, we shall not accept God. This is the foolishness. Mudha, they have been called. Mudha, rascals, fools. God is there, God's energy is there. If you cannot see God, you see God's energy. Just like if you cannot see the electric powerhouse and the engineer who is within the powerhouse generating the power, but you should understand, you are using electricity in so many ways. You are using in kitchen, you are using floor cleansing, using your cheek cleansing, and so many things you are using. Your tape recorder, everything, in your country especially, everything electrically. So one should inquire, that is intelligence. Where from this electricity is coming? So if you make research, that is intelligent research, then you find here is an electric powerhouse. And similarly, if you further study who is running on this powerhouse, you will find a human being. He is not impersonal, he is person. The electricity is impersonal. Even the powerhouse is also impersonal. But the man behind the everything, that is a person. Therefore, God is person. Logical conclusion. How he can be impersonal? Impersonal has no brain. Just like so many machines now we have invented, very wonderful machines, but the machine is not the brain. The operator is the brain. Why do they not understand? Therefore, Krishna says, Maya dhakshena prakriti suyati sacharacharam. You are seeing the energy or the wonderful action and reaction of this material cosmic manifestation. But don't think that they are working independently. No. I am behind them. So where is the difficulty to understand? From example, you can understand how things can go on nicely without a nice brain behind these things. It is conclusion. Maya dhakshena. Krishna says further, Maya tatamidam sarvam abbakta murtina. Abbakta has also murti, a form. Just like the sky. The sky is abbakta, not manifest. But it has also a form, a round form, the universe. Without form there is nothing. Everything has form. The so-called impersonal, that is also form. Basically go to the ocean, you will find a form, a big circle. That is also form. How you can say there is no form? So this formless, nirvishesha, you offer your prayers, nirvishesha shunyavadi. This is all foolishness. Zero, impersonal, this is all foolishness. Behind this impersonal feature and so-called zero, there is the Supreme Form. That is Krishna. Ishara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha. Ishara means controller. The nature is not controlling. The real controller is Krishna. Ichhanurupamapi jasacha chestate sa. Brahma Sangita says, Prakriti is the deity, is Durga. So it is said that she is working under the direction of Govinda. How she is working? Just like shadow. You have got your hand and the shadow is the down. Your hand moves, the shadow moves. Similarly, the motion is set. This is scientific truth. Behind all these manifestations, there is a motion. And who set up that motion? Yesterday I was giving this example, just like shunting of big wagons in the railway line. One engine gives the motion, pushes one wagon, and it pushes other one, cut, like that. You might have seen it. So motion giver is Krishna. Otherwise, you can give very big name or very big form and dress. They're all useless. Useless. That is being explained by Kunti, that we are very big. People say we are Pandavas. Similarly, we have become famous. How? Because you are our friend. Krishna is the friend of the Pandavas. Krishna is the friend of Arjuna specifically. Therefore Arjuna is so great warrior. He has got gigantic figure. So Krishna, Kunti knows that what is the value of my sons, Pandava. They are saying, oh, Pandavas are so big warriors and heroes. Similarly, Jadubhi, Krishna took birth in the Jadu dynasty. That is already explained. So Krishna has made famous the Jadu dynasty because he took his birth in that family. Therefore, two words are used here, Jadubhi, Saha Pandava. The Pandavas are famous, and Jadu dynasty is also famous. Kevayam. Oh, what we are, what is our value? Kevayam. Nama Rupabhyam, simply a so-called name and so-called form. Otherwise, without you, it is all useless. There is no value. Kevayam. So people do not understand. He is very proud of having a nice body, a nice name. I am American, I am Indian, I am this, I am German. So what is this? German, American, Indian. A bogus name and bogus form. That's all. It has no value. Just make Krishna minus, everything is zero. Finish. This is fact, but people are so rascal, they do not understand this fact. And, who can deny it? If the body, the American body or Indian body are good name and big name, it has no consciousness, then what is the value? No value. Therefore it is said that Bhagavad Bhakti Vihinasya Jati Japas Tapa Kriya Apranasya hi Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. So Krishna consciousness means consciousness is there. But this consciousness, what is this Krishna consciousness? This is Krishna consciousness. We have forgotten Krishna, therefore we simply say consciousness. Really, consciousness means Krishna consciousness. Because without Krishna, you cannot have consciousness. Therefore, the right name is Krishna consciousness, not consciousness. Right name is Krishna consciousness. Just like without sun, how there can be sunshine? Therefore we say sunshine, not sign. Sunshine. Therefore as soon as there is consciousness, it must be Krishna consciousness. If one makes Krishna minus, he is a rascal. He is a rascal. Consciousness means Krishna consciousness. Shining means sunshine. The sunshine means without sun, how there can be sunshine? Similarly, consciousness means Krishna consciousness. Without Krishna, how there can be consciousness? How it can be Krishna consciousness? This requires a little brain to understand. So the devotees, they have got brain. They understand. Just like Kunti. What is the value of our? We have some big men, Pandavas, Jadus. So what is the value? And he admits, Kevayam, Nama Rupa, simply big name and big form. It has no value. Bhavato adarsanam, because Krishna was taking farewell, parting. So, regretting, Kunti regret that you will go, so we cannot see you. That if we cannot see you, then what is the value of our name, fame? This is. He's lamenting. Bhavato arjuna jarihi rishikanam iva isatu. It is exactly like the senses. Now we are after sense enjoyment. This material world means sense enjoyment. But without Krishna or without Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of sense enjoyment. The senses are there. You have got big hands, big legs, and everything big. But when there is no Krishna consciousness, even you cannot utilize this. Rishikana. Rishik means senses. Therefore, intelligent person, he knows that my senses without Krishna has no value. That is devotee. Therefore, so long my senses are active, it may be used for Krishna. That is bhakti. Right conclusion. Because without Krishna, these senses have no value. Therefore, there is some intimate relationship with my senses and Krishna. That's a fact. Because without Krishna, what is the value of your senses? Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to use the senses for Krishna. Just like the property of somebody should be used for him, not for others. I have given this example many times, perhaps you may remember. Suppose here is the assembly and there is $100 note is there, fallen from somebody's pocket. So, if I take or you take the $100 note and put here in the pocket, so here is $100 note, then you are a thief. Because that $100 note does not belong to you. You are taking it without his information. That means you are a thief. This is called bhog, enjoyment. And another is tyag. One thinks, why shall I touch it? If somebody's, let it remain there. I have nothing to do. This is called tyag, giving up. So the $100 note is the same. One is trying to enjoy it, and one is trying to give it up. Don't care for it. So both of them are fools. Bhogi and Tyagi. Bhogi means the karmis. The karmis, those who are working very hard, utilizing, the scientists are utilizing the resources, material resources. That means all are making policy how to steal that note. That is their policy. The karmis. And another, while he was unable to steal, he says, grapes are sour, there is no need of. That is tyagi. So both the bhogis and tyagis, two classes of men will find. Mostly they are bhogis. They are trying to enjoy anything for his sense gratification, utility. And another, when he is baffled, he says, no, we don't require it. Similarly, the same example, if one takes that note and says, somebody has lost his $100 note, sir. So one who has really $100, he says, yes, I understand. And if you deliver to him, that is real service. To give up that note or to take that note, both is useless. So similarly, Kormi and Tyagi, Bhogi and Tyagi, they are all useless. And Bhakta, devotees, they know that everything belongs to Krishna. Now it should be offered to Krishna. That is real service. The same example. You take the $100 note and you ask to whom this $100 note belongs. If you give it, that's a great service. That man becomes very much pleased upon you. Oh, you are so nice. Similarly, these everything belongs to Krishna. What is this body? This body, the material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and then within the body, subtle, psychological, mind, intelligence, ego. So Krishna claims all these 8 elements are my separated energy. Then where is your body, your mind? You do not know even how this body is working. Although I am claiming this is my body. Take for example, just you are a tenant in an apartment. You are getting all supplies, but you do not know that how these, tap water is working, fire is working. You do not know. But you pay rent or somehow or other you have occupied the apartment, you are utilizing. Similarly, we are utilizing this body, but this body does not belong to me. It belongs to Krishna. This is real fact. So this body means senses. Therefore senses also belong to Krishna. Mind also belongs to Krishna. Everything I have got. I am a spirit soul. I have given the opportunity to utilize a certain type of body because I wanted it. Krishna has given me. Krishna is so kind. Je jathamang prapaddante tang tathaiva bhajami aham. If you want a body of a king, Krishna will give you. You do the prescribed method, you get a body of a king. And if you want the body of a hog to eat stool, Krishna will give you. So Krishna is giving you the body. So now in the human form of life, one should understand that everything belongs to Krishna. So why I am hankering after satisfying my so-called body? Brother, I have got now the senses and the body, let me serve Krishna. That is intelligence. That is bhakti. Rishikena rishikesa sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Here is the rishi word. Rishikana iva isatu. Rishikana. Rishik means the senses. The senses actually belong to Krishna. Therefore Krishna's name is Rishikesa. Another name is Krishna, as you know. Rishikesa. Taya Rishikesena ridhistitena yatha karomi. So, Rishik means senses. These senses have no value without Krishna. Therefore, natural conclusion is the senses belongs to Krishna. But I wanted some sense gratification, therefore Krishna has given us some facility. But everything belongs to Krishna. That when I forget that actually everything belongs to Krishna, I have been given some facility. That's all. So much. So when I have got this facility, why not utilize all these facilities for Krishna's satisfaction? That is called bhakti. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So this is another wonderful class. So many points about this, and there's some parts that he stressed several times. This is the time that we unmute ourselves. If you want to share some realization, ask a question, connect some dots, please do that. Please unmute yourself and then share. This is wonderful thing about so many examples were given by Srila Prabhupada in this. So anyone who would like to start, just unmute yourself and share your realizations from this lecture. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, all this is your
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
The whole lecture was powerful, but the last conclusion was amazing.
Mhm.
How Prabhupada defines bhakti, to be engaged in Krishna consciousness. If not, it's not bhakti. So I was really liking that point. In this lecture, Srila Prabhupada is really reminding us Krishna's position, Krishna's being the controller. He's the final word. He's the final say. You know, he does what he wants to do with us, when he wants to do it and how he wants to do it. And it's on us to really see how we can really, surrender. That's the difficult part, I think. It's surrendering to Krishna being the controller, because we're so used to being the controller. We're so used to making decisions. We're so used to, deciding and predicting and forecasting. We're so conditioned to doing that, and not being able to do that is like, feeling the feeling of hanging on a thread. And that's the challenge that I think, including myself, every one of us face this challenge of how to really surrender and know that the Lord can change our plans at any time, no matter how much we make plans. And we can make plans. There's nothing wrong in that. But also to know that Krishna is the final decision maker, and he can do whatever he wants to do because he's the controller. That was a really powerful point by Srila Prabhupada. And at least that's my realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. You touched on some of the main things that Srila Prabhupada was describing, the sense and the use of the senses in the body. So anyone else would like to share? Okay, while you're thinking about it, I have some points that I put down that I'd like to share at this point. So this is some words from Queen Kunti. So Nama Rupapyam. Nama is name, Rupa is form. And Srila Prabhupada began to describe the body and also the soul that's in the body by first using, when a big man, to give an example, when a big man is living, you can't approach him so easily. But when he's dead, you can even kick the dead body, nobody would care. They won't blame you. Why? Because the soul is gone. So when the soul leaves, that means Krishna's energy has been withdrawn. And then because Krishna is absolute, he equated Krishna's energy and Krishna. They are non-different. Made that point. We must accept both energy and energetic. My bodies don't accept energy. Made that point there. Because they're looking at things at the impersonal level. So then you give more examples. Use the sunshine. The sunshine is there because the sun globe is there. You used another example, electricity. Electricity, behind that, there's a powerhouse, and there's also the engineer. So Krishna is very personal. He comes personally, but we have no eyes to see him. Neither can we understand him. So he comes, of course, that's connected, even though he didn't say that he's connected. For those of us who don't have eyes tinged with the salve of love to be able to see Krishna, he comes in a deity form, so that at least we can identify and then, of course, serve him. So when it comes to the example they gave about electricity, the powerhouse, and then also the engineer. So behind electricity is the powerhouse, and then there's the engineer in the powerhouse that generates the electricity at the powerhouse for it to go everywhere else. So now he made the distinction between personal and impersonal. The electricity is impersonal, as we well know. The powerhouse is also impersonal, but the engineer is a person. And the engineer is a person with the brain. So the machine is not the brain, but the engineer is the brain. The machine, which is what's in the powerhouse, that's not the brain. The engineer is the one that's designed it and makes it work. Krishna says, Maya Dyakshina Prakriti Swayate Sacharacharam. Behind the material activity is Krishna. But then there are all of these impersonal people that they say, oh, it's nirvishesha, sunyavadi, it's void, impersonal. See, Papa says all of that, or this whole zero thing, void, which is zero, is all nonsense. There is a person. There is an engineer. So Maharani Kunti, he came back to Maharani Kunti's statement that the Pandavas, they are very famous. They are big Kshatriyas, but Kunti is making the statement, Maharani Kunti, that you, Krishna, are behind their greatness. Then he gave another example, the Yadus. They are also very, very famous. Their army cannot be defeated. At the time they were never, nobody was able to defeat the Yadus from Dwarka. So that's the situation. But then, why were they that strong? Because Krishna was there. Without Krishna, there's no value even for them. And he made a point about people being proud to be American, but with the consciousness, even in these bodies, there must be Krishna. Krishna is the source of these. So the full name is not consciousness. The full name is Krishna consciousness. And that's for everything, both material and spiritual, because everything material and spiritual all come from Krishna. So for the sunshine to be there, there should be the sun. He repeated it towards the end. So finally he said in the material world, people like sense enjoyment, but Krishna provides the senses. Without Krishna, the senses cannot work. Without the soul, the senses cannot work. And the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. That's why we say without Krishna, the senses cannot work. Therefore, the senses should be used for satisfying Krishna, and that is bhakti. Then he went into the description of bhogis and tyagis with the example of $100 note. The $100 note is fallen. Some people have seen it. A person that doesn't own it takes it and they want to enjoy it. That person is a thief. That's the bogey. They want to enjoy it. They enjoy their senses using that money. Another one will also say, well, it's not mine. Yeah, it's fallen. I know it's not mine, so I won't do anything about it. I'll just leave it. Those are tyagis. They leave the note there. They don't do anything. The devotee knows that there is an owner of that $100 bill. So then he takes the $100 bill with the intention of going to find the owner and giving that money to the owner, who definitely will be pleased that that kind of work has been done. So the devotee puts in the effort. He does the service to give the energy that's been given to Krishna, by Krishna to him in service. That is great service. That is what devotion service is about. Give another example. We are in an apartment. The apartment has utilities. There's ways the utilities work. We don't even know how the utilities work, but we pay rent to live in the apartment. So similarly, we have a body. The body represents the apartment, and the senses represent the utilities. So we serve. But who do we serve? If we serve, we use the senses or the utilities just to satisfy ourselves. The thing is, the apartment belongs to Krishna, and the utilities also belong to Krishna. Therefore, since everything belongs to Krishna, and we want sense gratification, those who want sense gratification, Krishna gives the type of body for that. He gave examples there. But the point he was making is, since we know that Krishna owns it, he's the owner, why not use it for serving Krishna? So we should utilize the facilities for Krishna's satisfaction. And that is called bhakti. And so those are some of the things that I picked up from this. This is one of lectures. He gave several examples. And examples, more examples you give, the clearer it becomes. Kunti just made one statement about the Pandavas being great according to what people are thinking about them. But she said, it is you, Krishna, that's behind the greatness of the Pandavas. So it is everything emanates from the Lord. He's behind everything. And therefore, whatever we have, we should use in service to Krishna directly or indirectly. So that is the consciousness that we should have. And now we've learned one thing. We don't mention this consciousness because Krishna is behind the consciousness. Devotees now should start using Krishna consciousness, not just regular consciousness. Oh, the soul is in the body, and the soul is in the body, therefore the soul is the symptom of the soul is consciousness. The body is alive. But since the body belongs to Krishna, the senses belong to Krishna, therefore consciousness now should really be called Krishna consciousness, because he's the one behind Hare Krishna. Again, the floor is open if you want to unmute yourself and have some statements, questions, takeaways. You can. I've said quite a bit about my takeaways, but still there's some more points in there that others can talk about it if you want to. It's up to you.
Can you, I don't know if Prabhupada simplified it in his lecture or if you recapped it, but can you, in simple layman's term, how can one switch one's consciousness from regular consciousness to Krishna consciousness, like simple, basic, steps?
So you're talking about consciousness. First, consciousness means we have to remember something that's important. Krishna is behind everything. Krishna is behind everything. So whatever we do, we need to connect it with Krishna, service to Krishna. That is the first thing. We use our intelligence while we do our daily activities, use our intelligence so that some of it or all of it, depending on what we're doing, is directed towards service to Krishna. And service to Krishna also means service to devotees, because devotees are also owned by Krishna. Everything is owned by Krishna. But devotees understand that. Non-devotees do not understand that. They think that they are own people and everything is there and we use it. We use it. It's there, we use it. That's the example that Srila Prabhupada gave about $100 note. Somebody comes, takes it, starts spending it. Is a thief. So we have to remember that since Krishna is the source of everything, I must live my life to satisfy Krishna by satisfying him based on the instructions of Guru. And then it will boil down to everything practical, like beginning your day by dedicating that day to Krishna with a short prayer saying that let this day's activities be controlled according to how you want things to unfold. Many, many, many times devotees go through some tests, especially when there's plans that somebody makes. And even they think that it's very nice plans, you can do this, can do this, can do that. And then they realize that things are outside their control and they're not able to get things to work the way they planned for it to work. When Krishna does that to devotees, the indication is we have to submit ourselves, our minds, our senses, all to Krishna and have him plan what is supposed to happen. Our plans won't always go as we thought that, we've set it out to unfold. But we should never, as devotees, be disturbed by that. It only means that Krishna has better plans, not the one that we plan, but has better plans and he's also time. Krishna himself is time. And therefore things will unfold based on how he wants things to unfold. So then devotees should never be disappointed. They should just be submitted. Mm-hmm. Surrender to Krishna is like a child that's following the mother. When the mother turns left, the child turns left. When the mother stops, the child stops. When the mother turns right, the child turns right. And the reason is for the child is, mommy turned left. That's why I turned left. He knows best. That's surrender to Krishna. So when we dedicate the day to him, then we go about normally what we do based on, of course, our chanting and also our following the regulated principles so we know what to do and what not to do. The general directions are there. And everything else is based on dedicating the day to Krishna. And then the activities will follow based on what Krishna wants. So see, there's no disappointment when we think like that. Mommy stops at this place, I stop. Mommy moves forward, I move forward. Like that. That type of surrender makes life very, 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 very simple, very, very, very easy. Things happen, you see things happen one way, things happen, seems like disappointment this one, it doesn't matter. As long as we're following mommy, following daddy, what do we have to worry about? Hare Krishna. So hopefully that was enough of an answer to the question that you asked. Anybody else?
It's interesting how, as you were explaining about the example of the child and the mother, child and the parent, it almost seems like once we get older, then we think we're the boss. It's like
Too many people fall into that situation, yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning stages. Yeah, when we are kids, right? We just depend on the mom and dad because they know that once we get the freedom, we get a little bit of freedom, a little bit of intelligence, and a little bit of I know it all. That's it. We just think we can rule the world. I was just thinking about that, how from a child to an adult, how the level of dependent on the parents starts decreasing as they get older, because they just think that they know it. And it's very similar to Krishna and us, when we depend on the Lord, when we need him, then we run to him. And once we get what we want, then as we get smart, then we think we can figure it out. So I was just realizing that.
And I'm just going to add one to it. Once we just get an adult and we get quite a bit of wealth, then we don't need to think about God at all because my money can give me anything I want. We begin to think that way. So, yes, it's obvious when we're children that you have to follow the parent. But when we get older, a devotee must think that, yes, there is some level of activity that now Krishna is allowing me to do, but I also should realize that he's a supreme parent. He knows past, present, future. He can direct my life a whole lot more easily than I can. Therefore, it's not a situation where you see parent now holding the child's hand everywhere. But we should understand that Krishna's hand is an physically unseen hand physically, but it's there. It's there. And if we choose to hold Krishna's hand, then he'll guide us. And if we choose to leave it totally and do whatever we want to do, then we are at the mercy of all the dangers, padam, padam, natesham. The world is like that. Then we are at the mercy of whatever happens. Even there, Krishna will be watching. But we have to, as devotees, voluntarily give our hand for Krishna to hold. That's dedicating life to Krishna on a daily basis. So outside, everybody will say, oh, we're just walking around doing things like everybody else is doing. But it's not really true. It's that physically you don't see Krishna's hand, but a person who has dedicated their thinking, their way of doing whatever they're doing every day to Krishna, That hand is there. Krishna is holding their hands all the way through. And that's the way they should think. Hmm? And when things happen one way or the other, sometimes, especially if it happens seemingly negatively, we don't know what it means. But later on, we see that it was a wonderful plan by Krishna. It's just that the unfolding of that plan was not immediate. So it seemed like things were not being done or things were going wrong. We just have to be patient. That's why it is in Nectar of Instruction. We have to be determined. We have to be enthusiastic, stay enthusiastic. Hmm? When we have confidence in Krishna, that Krishna can do everything for me and I'm connected to him, then we have confidence. Hmm? Then we also become patient because everything is done on Krishna's time. In that way, we don't get an anxiety. This is how people avoid anxiety. Hare Krishna. Any final statement? We just turned 9 o'clock. If not, then thank you very much for coming to listen. The Prabhupada always educates us. And the point that he made, he says, when they asked him, what's going to happen to the movement after you left your body, Srila Prabhupada said, I'll never die. I will never die. I will always be in my books. Yeah, he is in his books for teaching us, and he's also teaching us through the lectures. Srila Prabhupada physically left the body, but look how much you get every day just by hearing Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sundibhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, Yeti have a nice, wonderful rest of your week in the Krishna conscious way. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Glory to Prabhupada.